Imagine for a moment that you're gone. It's a heavy thought, I know, but stay with me. Your family has just said their final goodbyes, and now they have to walk back into your house. They open the front door, and instead of grieving peacefully, they are met with a mountain of decisions. They see the overflowing closets, the basement filled with half-finished projects, and the attic packed with boxes that haven't been touched in 40 years. Suddenly, their sorrow is replaced by stress. Their love is clouded by the sheer exhaustion of sorting through your life's leftovers. Is that the last memory you want to leave them? Most of us spent our lives building a home, but we never stop to think about the burden that home becomes when we're no longer there to manage it. We call it clutter, but to your children, it's an unpaid debt of time and energy. The Swedes have a word for this, and it sounds a bit jarring at first. They call it Döstädning, or Swedish Death Cleaning. Now, don't let the name scare you off. It's not about being morbid, and it's certainly not about giving up on life. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It's about taking control of your legacy so your loved ones don't have to. It's the ultimate act of kindness, a final, beautiful gift of organization and clarity. In the US, we have this tough-it-out culture where we keep everything just in case. We think that as long as we have our stuff, we have our history. But the reality is, you are more than your possessions. Swedish death cleaning is simply the process of organizing and downsizing your life before someone else has to do it for you under the weight of grief. Think about the big house you've lived in for decades. Maybe you've already thought about moving, but the idea of sorting through the garage feels like climbing Mount Everest. So you wait. You tell yourself you'll do it next summer or when you feel more energetic. But the truth is, aging doesn't make us more energetic. It makes the piles feel taller. I've seen so many American families torn apart over a dining room set or a collection of old tools, not because the items were valuable, but because the parents never made a decision about them. They left the mess for the kids to fight over. By refusing to death clean, you are effectively leaving a chaotic puzzle for your children to solve during the worst week of their lives. I remember a man named Robert, a retired engineer from Ohio. He had a workshop that was a masterpiece of tools, hardware, and scrap metal. He loved that shop, but he knew his kids didn't know a wrench from a pliers. Instead of leaving it for them, he started his death cleaning at 70. Every Saturday, he'd invite a neighbor or a grandson over. He'd say, "I want you to have this, and here is the story behind it." By the time he passed, that workshop was nearly empty, but the homes of his friends and family were filled with meaningful tools and even better stories. He didn't leave them a chore, he left them a curated history. He died with his affairs in order, and his children didn't spend a single second feeling resentful about his stuff.
The beauty of this process is that it actually makes your life better right now. When you clear out the guest room that has become a storage unit, you reclaim that space for yourself. When you shred those tax returns from 1984, you feel a strange sense of lightness. We don't realize how much mental energy it takes to own things. Every object in your house is a tiny tether pulling on your attention, demanding to be dusted, moved, or insured. Death cleaning is about cutting those tethers, one by one, until you are finally free to enjoy the years you have left without being a slave to your inventory. It's not about dying, it's about living lighter today. If you're wondering where to start, don't start with the photos. That's the biggest mistake people make. You'll get stuck in memory lane for 5 hours and give up. Start with the big and easy things. Start with the furniture nobody sits in, the clothes that haven't fit since the 90s, or the kitchen gadgets that are still in their original boxes. The Swedes suggest starting with the basement or the garage. the places where stuff goes to be forgotten. Ask yourself the hard question, will anyone be happier if I save this? If the answer is no, let it go. Give it to someone who needs it now, or simply toss it. You are not throwing away your life, you are clearing a path for the people you love. There is a deep dignity in being the one to say, I've had a full life, and I don't need these things to prove it. It takes a certain level of wisdom to realize that your children would much rather have a weekend of laughing and sharing stories with you than a month of hauling heavy boxes to the local dump after you're gone. We spend so much time worrying about our bank accounts and our wills, but we forget that our physical environment is a huge part of our estate. A clean, organized home is a testament to a life lived with intention. It says, I cared enough about you to make this easy. So, here is your first step toward a lighter life. Today, I want you to find one box, just one. It can be in the attic, the closet, or under the bed. Open it and look at every item through the eyes of your children. If it doesn't have a story worth telling or a value that truly helps them, let it go. Don't wait for someday, because someday is a heavy burden for those we leave behind. Choose to be the one to clear the way. Start your version of Swedish death cleaning today and feel the weight of the past lift off your shoulders. You'll find that the less you have to guard, the more room you have to truly breathe.